Recorded.
Shabbat Shalom Aleichem.
Shabbat Shalom.
And here we are again on Shabbat, seventh day of our week. The seventh day of our week, celestial week. The seventh day, Shabbat. So again, let's try it again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to our Shabbat on this 29th day of the 8th month of our solar calendar. The 29th day of our 8th month of our solar calendar. And at sundown, of course, today, we'll be recognizing the 30th day, the 30th and final day of the 8th month of our solar calendar of this year, our solar year, 6027. 6027. And of course, it will also be the first day of our week, solar week at sundown. We're on the east coast of the United States of America, in the state that's called Florida, and the city of Florida, in Florida, that's called Miami in the south, and we're in the east. So we're on Eastern Standard Time according to clocks. And we're looking at right now about 5 minutes to 1 o'clock in the p.m. on this Sunday. On their calendar is Sunday, November the 10th day of November 2024. 2024 of November, which is their 11th month of their calendar. So we did that for the sake of the recording, so you'll know exactly what day this is being recorded and testified of and revealed, as well as the time of their clocks. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the first full week of the first week when they adjusted their clocks and they put the hour of their clock, the shorter hand of the clock, backward, like fall back an hour. And that's all they can do. They cannot change the time or the seasons. They can only adjust their clocks, trying to keep up with what we're doing and bring it about what they're doing. They're leaving that orb out, leaving my orb out. But keep up with prophecy and how it's being fulfilled today. That they can never change. They can never change prophecy, never. Prophecy is continuing to unfold itself in these other last days. We are, in fact, and indeed, historically and prophetically, literally, in the last days of this world, not the planet, of this world. This world was allotted to Cain and his father, Hallel, also known in the Bible as Lucifer, in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12, also known in the Septuagint, or the Torah, or the Pentateuch, as the serpent in the garden, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. Hallel. You can find that in Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. Hallel is also here today. All the souls that were promised to be here, including the great dragon, to fulfill Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, and all of his angels, is here. They are here. He is here. And before I reveal him, Satan revealed, my wrote a book, Satan Revealed. And speaking of all, it's reminded me that before we get started, you should grab hold to your King James Version Holy Bible or any Bible. It doesn't matter. We're not bound anymore to King James Version. King James Version, of course, was the first authorized edition that was released to the public in 1611. We're not bound to that Bible. because since the Dead Sea Scrolls were found in Qumran near Cairo in Egypt between 1946 and 47 by a little shepherd boy that was called Abdi Muhammad. The Dead Sea Scrolls did a lot away with the King James Version. They now have several other versions that were created after discovering the Dead Sea Scrolls that gave more of a detail of what's happening today in prophecy and what happened in his story before. Of course, the King James Version was used for over 400 years now. Well, we don't necessarily use that version. It's the most popular. They have the NLT that was created back in 1996, Living Translation, as well as others. And whatever Bible you grab hold, it's okay. It's all right. Why? Because none of them matters. They really don't matter. And why is that? Well, because the Hebrew scrolls were written in hand drafted Hebraic. And that's why you think that the word circumcision is literal. It means circumcision. Why? Because it was translated into English from Hebraic, from Hebrew, the original Hebrew. So I'm going to reveal a little of that today, along with some other secrets and revelations that were hidden since my departure over 2,024 years ago. I'm your host of this testimony, and I'm the host of the earth and from the heavens. I'm the host. I'm known biblically, historically in the Bible as Micah, the Morasite, which is the 33rd book. It's based on the 33rd book of the King James Version Holy Bible, right in the middle of 33. And in a moment, see, that subjects what today is of 33. That 33 plays a very significant role in prophecy today that we'll reveal to you in just a moment. But I'm known, as I mentioned a moment ago, I'm known as Micah. I was called that by my Ab in 1979, right here in Miami, Florida, in the suburb that's known as Brownsville, where I sit right now. I had not moved. I hadn't moved from this spot since I returned from another country in 2007, surrounded by a country of islands, the Caribbean, some may say. I hadn't moved from the spot, right here in Miami. When I say spot, I mean Miami. But I've positioned myself now with the Kingdom of Shalom. This is in the Kingdom of Shalom, which is the most powerful knowledge of peace in existence, in the very same suburb that my Ab came to in 1979, and he made mention of my name and called me Micah. That's prophetical. The book called Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 1, 2, and 3. Called me Micah. I did not name myself. Even from the beginning, I did not name myself. He called me Micah. Theologians of the world, they know me and call me Michael in English. Hebrew, without the theophoric extension, is Mikael. Mikael. I'm the same Mikael that's prophetically promised to return in the last days that you read in Daniel chapter 12, verse 1, as well as a book called Jude and the book called Revelation, the same Michael. And of course, I am not black. I'm not black. I'm bronze in skin complexion, as promised. I'll be bronze complexion, skin complexion, bronze. So I am not black. That's just for the record. I'm bronze, just as promised. Bronze complexion. In the meantime, going back to your Bible, you can grab a Bible, grab the Pentateuch if you have it. Grab the Torah. You can grab the Torah that was created by the false themselves Jews over the Middle East today, the Torah, the Septuagint, the 5 books of Moshe. Grab whichever you'd like. None of them has a meaning. Why? Well, because I come in the volume of the book. Can no one reveal the book except me? No one can reveal all 404 verses of the book called Revelation except me. I don't have to prove it, but I'm going to share some of it with you. Because if you can explain to me how I'm going to read the circumcision in the East, then you'll be the one. And that brings about the title of this testimony. We're sharing it today on Facebook. We're Facebook Live. This is the era of the circumcision. I've seen some, at least one in particular, thought they can reveal the truth of the circumcision. You don't know what the circumcision is. I'm not belittling you, you belittle yourself. I'm correcting you. You're being corrected. You don't know anything of the circumcision or about it. The only thing you can do is read the Torah, what was given to you, what was handed to the Jews from the scrolls, what they found in the caves of Qumran, Cairo, and Egypt. Dead Sea Scrolls, some before that. See, the Dead Sea Scrolls that they found, they were protected. They were taken and hidden. Some were refuged from the Alexandria Library. They tried to burn so they can prolong their rulership and live as long as they thought they can live on this planet without bringing about the last days. If they could destroy a record that the world is coming to an end, then they feel that they can continue to deceive you in the last days, that they're going to go on, and there will be another election in 2028 or 2029 or whatever they thought they would have. They voted for Hillel and not even realizing they put the devil right over them, just as he wanted to rule, and it said it would happen in Isaiah chapter 14, as well as Revelation chapter 12. They are doomed, don't even realize it. I don't even feel sorry for my people. I tried to, but I could not find it in my soul to feel sorry for them because they had their chances, even with the first circumcision. The first circumcision that was performed by Moshe. They had their chances. Could you imagine the Latino that goes for Puerto Rico, Cuba, Brazilian, Spain, Mexico? All of those are in this country now that they call citizens because they have a piece of paper that entitle them to be a citizen of the United States, voted for Hillel, voted for the devil himself. They put him in office, although they say president-elect, Pharaoh-elect. They put him in office, so the very first thing he promised to do was to get all of their relatives out of this country that are not here legally by documents. Even those who have documents, he's going to tear the documents up and get them out of here. And that's what they voted for. They voted for that. You deserve everything that's coming to you. Yeah, you deserve every single thing that's coming to you. And for those who voted for the woman, what makes you think that my Arb is going to put a woman over me and my people in this country of a different color than a woman in 2016? The only woman that he ever put in history over my people is called Queen, or was called Queen Elizabeth of England, not of the United States. Although this country is being governed by her for a little while, of the 13 colonies, before it became independent. on July 4th, 1776, still under the Queen, the only woman. And the only woman that he put over Judah today, spiritually, as a sun-clad woman. And that's Revelation chapter 12. And I know who the sun-clad woman is, do you? Even pain to be delivered with the moon under her feet right now. Darkness. I mean, she must have black feet. Dark feet. Anyway, we grab your Strong's Concordance, grab a dictionary if you have one. If you have two, grab the other, because some words in one dictionary may not be or bear the same meaning as another meaning in another dictionary of the same word. Set of encyclopedias. And of course, most importantly, we always encourage you to grab something to write with. Grab an ink pen, something to write with. Grab a tablet, a notepad tablet. Something to write with, something to write on. And take notes, please. Take notes and compare what we're about to share with you and reveal for yourself on your own time during your study, fulfilling and recognizing what's printed and read in the book called 2 Timothy in chapter 2 and verse 15. Study to shew thyself approved unto God. I come from God, the God of the Hebrews. We both come from everlasting. We come from everlasting. That's where we're headed, right back to everlasting. I mean, we cannot die. We will never die. Some of our people are focused on vessels, human vessels. You're focused on a body, a vessel that he used for 72 years as he visited this planet, just as we did back in the days when all of the nation of Israel were in Egypt in bondage. So we visited and came down to see what was going on with Israel, and they delivered them out of the hand of Pharaoh, or the hands of Pharaoh. There are many pharaohs. Pharaoh is not a man, it's a position. Today in the United States, it's called president. And some countries, it's called dictators, leaders. So today, and that's why this country, known as the United States of North America, that bears 48 conjoined states, the border, state border, the border, connected, and two, of course, are outside, Alaska and Hawaii. But this country today is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, according to Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. This is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. Why Sodom? Well, because the same acts in Sodom of homosexuality and abominations, abominable acts that's being performed between man and man, with man and woman, is being performed today in this country. Man laying with men laying with man, and some men are laying with beasts. And when I say beasts, I mean sheep. Beasts with 4 legs are abominable. As women are also laying with women, and women with women are abominable, leaving their natural nature, which was been given to them naturally to be with the opposite gender. So therefore, it inherited during these years, over 300 years now, of being a country. Before that, it was just land under dictatorship. But it adopted the name and inherited the name at the same time, Sodom. Gomorrah is just filthy. The name Gomorrah goes by the filthiness of it. And this wasn't called Sodom and Gomorrah, but because of my people being here today, in a tribe or 2 tribes of Israel is here in this country. The tribe, the most popular and the most dominant tribe of the 12 is Yehuda, Judah. And the other, of course, join Yehudas called La Vie. They're known as Haitians today, and from Haiti, Port-au-Prince, Haiti. But my people that are known today as African or Afro-Americans or Black people, Negro, Yehuda, or Judah if you prefer. We're the only people, my people are the only people who came and was deported. My people were the only people that came here deported. They're the only ones who are now in a port, deport. And they're actually the only ones who are citizens here in this land. Everyone else came here illegal, as an illegal alien. Everyone. And that includes all those in the White House or the Black House that come from Europe. And your ancestors, all illegal aliens. Wow. And you do not know it. But I'm revealing it. All of you. And that started with the White House. If you don't believe that, do your own ethnocentrism and your heritage and trace your roots. And then once you're done, you tell me who was here in 1550 in this land. Who was here in 1550, the 16th century? Who was here in the 15th century in this land? Even as Canadians came down across the bridge from Canada into this land, they call Niagara now, by Niagara Falls. Even Canadians come from Europe. They inherited that land that's called Canada today. It wasn't theirs. The whole land mass of land between Canada, this land, and Mexico, as some came from Spain and inherited a land that they called Mexico, as others went on the islands in the Caribbean and inherited Cuba, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Brazil, all after the flood. Remember, only 8 people were left alive on this planet after the flood of Noah. So as it was in the days of Noah, that's how it is today when the Son of Man is standing for the children of our people. That's how it is. In the meantime, as I said a moment ago, today is the 29th day of the 8th month. And at sundown will be the 30th day of the 8th month. For the record, is also known by that calendar as November the 10th. And tomorrow they are dedicated to veterans. They call it Veterans Day. Tomorrow. Is that right? Okay. In the meantime, as I mentioned, I'm your host, and we're going to reveal some secrets. Now, I don't want you to be confused. Don't confuse me with others. Now, you have the right to call me false, and it's okay. I don't mind that. I'm used to that. In fact, I am even allowing you to call me false. Can't stop you. As some of you have said, Yahweh ben Yahweh said, ain't nobody coming after him. Oh my. Do you know, you have any idea how much trouble you would be in if that was true? If we leave it up to you? Some even believe they're going to deliver themselves. I'm still looking for it in any Bible. I mean, if you have an extra Bible that you can show me in that Bible that the children of Judah are going to be in a strange land in the last days that's not theirs, and they should deliver themselves back to their own land by several other leaders, then I have to humble myself and go along with you. I mean, for some strange, miraculous reason, some miracle, we'll have to go back into the archives and change history, change prophecy, because someone made a drastic mistake. And I don't know if we'll be able to find the same ink pens that we use made of iron. But That would be the same as altering prophecy. And I do not think that you can do that. There's too much of it out there. It's too much that's been fulfilled already. And you should ask the same fools, since you believe that, then who's going to fulfill the rest of prophecy? Who is going to fulfill the rest of prophecy that hadn't been fulfilled yet? Only the ignorance of my people, destroyed for lack of knowledge, would make such stupid statements. Just silly. Not realizing that there were two messiahs. And all the theologians of U.S. history knew that, and they know that there's two messiahs. And on November 7th, 1990, in New Orleans, Louisiana, down right around from Canal Street, the U.S. federal government thought they got the right Messiah in custody. And some even believe today that the right Messiah, the true Messiah, died on Monday, May 7th, 2007. And I told him in 1992 on cassette tapes and books, you got the wrong one. You got the wrong one. But what I'm doing today, besides finishing his works, is I'm finishing my works and doing all that was promised that I would come to do. And that includes, and not limited to, recircumcising. Circumcising again, just as it was before in the spiritual Egypt, just like the spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. And as we do, they remind you once again, do not confuse me with false prophets. And let me give you an example of a false prophet. Someone who come along after my Arb ascended in that vessel. See, the vessel that he used, just set the record straight, the vessel that you see that they're still belittling and blaspheming, ridiculing, even as he was in prison, and what they say they think he died of and from. That vessel was really a terrestrial vessel that was used so we could walk among you like I'm doing right now. You can see us. We're not bound to vessels. As proven in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, no soul that my Arb owns and that he gave to me, that's mine, is bound to a vessel. If that was true, then you wouldn't be here today, because here you are, a gain in another vessel. Same soul, right back again today. Some, if you want, you can call it reincarnation. That's if you like. That's what the scientists and biologists, that's what they call it. Reincarnation. There's no such thing as reincarnation. What you did was become incarnated again. Now, you can read it if you'd like. We're not going to. It's not the subject. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 15. We begin at verse 30 and read the verse 40, so you can see how all terrestrial vessels are not the same as terrestrial vessels. There's one of celestial and one of terrestrial. Right now, you are sitting and resting. Your soul is resting in the terrestrial vessel of your celestial soul, those who are mine. Even the beasts have a soul that's going to be destroyed. The souls that we own can be they can be rebought. They can be bought like re-circumcised, come back. And they're not bound to a vessel. My Arb, as often as he wants, can give him a vessel. And he's not bound to a vessel. He told him that in 1986 during an interview. Can't kill God. He chose to come in that vessel. And he can come in the vessel that he liked. Why? He created them, and he made them, and formed them. So you can go ahead and continue your blasphemous, as you fulfill Revelation chapter 21, verse 8. All blasphemers, everyone. You'll have your part. It's coming. Just relax and be patient. It's coming. In the meantime, I am not like one who said he came back as my father. My father came back in a frail vessel with a bald head. It's amazing how my Arb had so much hair on his head when he ascended. Even back in the 80s, he walked around that vessel with so much hair on that head. that he used in the vessel until he made up his mind that when he returned, he'd come back bald, shave it all off, and lose a little weight. Let me give you an idea. See, here's the secret. My soul is known throughout history by theologians to be a word player. And the words that I play with, and not only in English, but all that we gave to all nations, I can play with words. I use them as toys. So what I decided to do when I wrote my scrolls by hand on papyrus with ink, I played with words, Hebrew, that will force those transliterators of England, of Europe, even of German, Martin Luther, and all those theologians of Greece, Spain, all nations, that when they come across my scrolls, though they would need help from elders of Israel who can read Hebrew or Hebraic, and then tell them what it means in their idiom, in particular English, then what they would do is they would transliterate the Hebrew word into an English word that I left for them to translate exactly the way it is when they transliterate it. That way, it would be opposite. I wrote opposite of what it is. It's called codex and crypto. For example, I left bald, and I wrote a book in 2012 right here in this country. It's called The Oppositionist. It's available online right now. You go to Amazon, you'll see it, The Oppositionist. So what I did was I left on the scrolls that when the English translators would come along and get help from those elders, it was 7 elders along with King James, 47 theologians. They would come across a Hebrew word that would take them to the English bald. Show them bald for a moment so you don't confuse me with this fella. Don't confuse me with him. He's false. But he's one of several false. I'm just sharing with you he's false, and I don't like him at all. I tried hard in my soul to try and like him, but I can't find it. It reminds me of Romans chapter 9, verse 13, and Malachi. It reminds me of Malachi chapter 1, verse 1 and 2. Esau, Jacob have I loved, and Esau have I hated. You have a good. Yeah, we want to make sure. Okay. How's that? We just adjust the camera so everybody can see it. What I did was, this is a part of the circumcision. This is a part of circumcision. See, circumcision, literally, all you know that someone came on and thought he revealed the truth of circumcision. And he was focused right there on the wee. He focused only on the wee. But he got half of it right. What half he got right? The wee. He got half right. He got the we right. So he added we. That means we and them. We. You got to get your wee cut. And I find it extremely difficult to try, and I cannot find the comprehension in my mind on how are the women going to be circumcised if they don't have a wee. I'm going to get to that in a moment. But right now, I want to let you know that this bald-headed fella, until you took it off, this bald-headed imposter. But it's all right. He can be Yahweh. He can be King Yahweh. I'm not going to make him my subject, but we don't have no problems of him being Yahweh or even King Yahweh. Why is that? Because Yahweh does not exist. There's no God of or from the celestial lodge whose name is Yahweh. Here we go again in English. My English-minded people. Under the Queen of England, the only woman that was allowed to be over Judah, a Queen of England who created Yahweh, that they got from the Tetragrammaton, Yod, He, Wav, He. Three Hebrew characters, symbols, three, and one of the three positioned twice. Yod He Wav He, from right to left. And from left to right, it means the door, the way, the truth, and the life. It bears a meaning, an appellation, it's an appellation for the Christ that you can find in John chapter 10, I believe somewhere around verse 9, verse 7, somewhere in the John chapter 10, that he says he's the door. And then you go to John chapter 14, and somewhere around verse 16 of it, somewhere in there it says he's the way, the truth, and the life. That brings about all four positions. Don't misunderstand or comprehend what's being said. There are four positions that creates a tetragrammaton, four positions, but there's only three characters. And common sense allow you, if you have any, there's no such thing as common sense, but if you have any kind of sense in common, then it should tell you that, hey, there's not two Heys. Hey is one Hebrew alphabet, one Hebrew symbol. One. And then you repeat it twice, now you have it twice. Hey, the fifth Hebrew character. And there are only two of our characters that are repeated, although they have some final, but the two that are repeated is Pei with Fei and Sheen with Seen. The only two. Sheen, of course, the dot is over to the east with one E. And then you have Wav in the middle. And then you have Seen in the west with the other E. And that Wav is also with R. So that means from left to right, you have E, R, E. Wav would take the place of R for righteousness. Wav. That's under Seen and Sheen. Pei and Fei, Pei is the mouth with a dot. Pei will have the dot with Wav. You see, Yod, Pei is actually three symbols. Pei is Kaf with Wav, with Yod to the bottom, and then and the in the middle. That brings about the mouth of God, Yod. So you have Kaf, Yod, Beth, right there. Now, Fei is just the sun. So you have what you see is Kaf, but also resembles Beth, with Yod upside down, with no dot in the middle, because that would represent Kaf, Beth, Yod, which means Mika, the son of Yod. Mika with Kaf. Beth, son of Yod. Look at it very closely. You just go ahead and study Fei and look at it real close and see if you don't come up with three Hebrew characters that we put together into one to make it look like one. Why do you think it repeats itself? You have the sun was in the east with Sheen, Shibboleth. And then the sun came over to the west with Seen, Sibboleth. Without the H. See, the H was not there. What H? Hey. Saved it for the tetragrammaton. Hey. So what we did was we have the false prophets now come out to be Yahweh, the bald head. And all of my people who think bald head is in style. All my men are shaving their heads off. And it's opposite. Not supposed to shave your head off. Go right now to Micah chapter 1 for a moment. Micah chapter 1. And I want to read verse 16. Do not focus on our bodies. When you focus on my body, or when you focus on my arm's body, then you confuse yourself. And so much until you think we're dead or going to die. I'm going to get to that in a moment. That's called lust of the flesh. I'm going to explain it in a moment, but right now I want you to read Micah chapter 1, verse 16.
Make thee bald, and poll thee for thy delicate children. Enlarge thy baldness as the eagle, for they are gone into captivity from thee.
Well, the eagle now is the bird of the United States. It's the nation's bird of this country, the eagle, the bald eagle. I knew that we would be here today with Judah under this eagle, and that there were going to be a lot of my people of Yehuda, as men and women, that would be shaving their heads off. I mean, heads, not the hair. They'd be shaving their heads off. They have no mind. In the meantime, some will be shaving their hair off. So they think that that's what they're supposed to do. It being that he found some scriptures in there as he was together his diagram, his epilogue, his dialogues. He thought he should shave his hair off. Well, it's the opposite. Go now to Ezekiel chapter 27 for a moment. I'm going to go along with you. Ezekiel chapter 27. And just make sure. Ezekiel chapter 27. And read verse 31 for a moment. Ezekiel 37. Ezekiel 27.
And they shall make themselves utterly bald for thee.
Wow. Really? That's Ezekiel 37 what?
31.
Yeah. Make it bald.
27, 31.
Right, 31. Well, before we get to that, read verse 28.
The suburbs shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots.
You mean they had pilots back in the days? Wonder what they were flying. Oh, you didn't know pilot was in the Bible. Don't you sit there and pretend like this is no surprise to you.
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you seen pilots in the Bible? Admit it, humble yourself and admit this is the first time you've seen pilots in the Bible. Where you think they were flying? Go ask the United States government in NORAD where they were flying. Canada, called UFOs. Pilots. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And what else it says?
Go to 31 and read from 28.
Read on. Keep reading.
And all that handle the oar, the mariners, and all the pilots of the sea.
You have pilots again? So they have pilots of the sea and they have pilots above. And the only place that you're going to find this word is in this chapter of Ezekiel in the Bible, King James Version. Pilots. And that was all they were bound to back in the days before the Wright brothers. They created some other kind of crafts they call aircrafts today. But these pilots come from the Hebrew word, originally that's known in Hebrew as Kabal. Kabal. You can find on the H2254. And it means to bind and to hold by a pledge. We hold by a pledge that the pilots are going to come and rescue Yehuda spacecrafts. Go to it for a moment. You can come out of that and go to H2254. In fact, if you want, what you should do is go to your Strong's Concordance. You can read from there, the Bible. I told you to take out your Strong's Concordance. type in pilots in plural. It's more than one. And the first thing they give you is a seaman, you know, seaman or sailor. We have ships, of course they can go underwater. They trace them, and they saw them going underwater, splashed in the ocean. No seaman. Seaman. You have it? Click on it and read from there, but click on the concordance too, so you can go to your reference at the same time you're reading. Pilots. It should take you to 2259. That's not what it is. You want the etymology. You want 2254, because see, all this S is going to take you to sailor and a seaman. When you go to 2254H under Hebrew, you're going to see that it is actually a pledge. You take a pledge and to lay to pledge, to hold by a pledge, that we will deliver our people, that Judah will be delivered. Those who come to me will be delivered by a bunch of pilots and spacecraft that they call UFOs. Welcome to Shabbat. And this is coming from bald, that you think is bald. Wait till you hear what bald really is, or truly is. See, to prove that this is by flight in the wind, do you still have that on the H, 2254?
Yeah.
Okay, look under the Strong's definitions under that, where it says also travail, to bring forth the travail. Look at the definition where it says a primitive root, to wind tightly.
Yeah.
They may want you to think it's wind. It's wind. To wind tightly as a rope. They didn't know it's cryptic. They were forced to translate it into words that they think are the same. Either it was a W-I-N-D or a W-I-N or W-I-N-E. It doesn't matter what they use. They cannot figure out our Hebrew secrets. And look, and they also have bring forth a band of what? A band of angels. Do you see in the definitions? Do you see at all? And you see B-A-N-D? So what band? You would think right away, this is a marching band. This is a jazz band. But what other band could this be? A band of angels coming forth to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot. Coming forth to carry me home. I looked over yonder, and what did I see? A band of angels coming for me. Coming. You believe this comes from pilots? Go back now and read. Continue to read until you get to verse 31. You got verse 27. Where you start at? 28?
28.
Go ahead, 28. Read 29. You at 29?
Yes, sir.
Read 30. Or did you finish 29?
I have to finish.
Finish 29. Have mariners.
And all the pilots of the sea shall come down from their ships.
Wait, hold on now.
You come down from the ship.
How do you come down from a ship?
In the sea.
In the sea. Or would the ships be coming down with the pilots? Now you seeing it?
Yeah.
It was cryptic. They translated it to read just as it reads today. Not only King James versions, but all other versions too. Some will say different. In fact, here's what you do. Follow this exercise. Go to a blank page, a blank spot in the Google. Right? Okay. And type in the NLT Bible. Just type in NLT. Right? Now log on to it because it's going to take you to Bible Gateway. See, we're not bound, as I mentioned, we're not bound to King James Version. The New Living Translation, go to the same book, Ezekiel chapter 27. And okay, read verse 27 on that Bible. 27:27. Read that.
Everything is lost. Your riches and wars, your sailors.
That's wares.
Excuse me. Your sailors and pilots.
I didn't see sailors in the King James Version.
No.
But they still have pilots, don't they?
Yeah, they still have pilots.
And what?
Your shipbuilders, merchants, and warriors. On the day of your ruin, everyone on board sinks into the depths of the sea. Your cities by the sea tremble as your pilots.
You have pilots again. The pilots do what?
Cry out in terror. All the oarsmen abandon their ships. The sailors and pilots stand on the shore. They cry aloud over you and weep bitterly, throw dust on their heads.
How do they do that? And roll in ashes? Where the ashes come from? Fire from the ships? And verse 31 says what?
They shave their heads in grief for you and dress themselves in burlap.
Go ahead, they weep.
They weep for you with bitter anguish and deep mourning. As they wail and mourn over you, they sing this sad funeral song.
You have funeral in the Bible? You're not going to find funeral in the KJV, but you got funeral here. This was released to the public in 1996. 1996. A funeral was what?
Was there ever such a city as Tyre, now silent at the bottom of the sea?
Really?
The merchandise you traded satisfied the desires of many nations. Kings at the end of the earth were enriched by your trade. Now you are a wrecked ship, broken at the bottom of the sea. All your merchandise and crew have gone down with you.
Okay, now go back to the King James Version now and see how that reads from 31.
And they shall make themselves utterly bald for thee, and gird them with sackcloth, and they shall weep for thee with bitterness of heart and bitter wailing.
Okay, so what kind of bald was that again? Did we look up bald? No, you didn't. So go back to your concordance. You read from the concordance, click on it and see what it means. Bald.
They have to make bald.
To
make bald, to make a baldness.
To make a bald, to make baldness. That's all they give you.
To make oneself bald.
To make oneself bald. And how would they do that? Using what? A razor. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay. A razor. That's on the H79, 7139, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now go to your concordance. And let's see. You go to your typing bald. Now, under bald, there's another meaning. And that'll be you're gonna follow this this reference. Go to H 6168. I left word and I left record that whenever you see someone bald, especially if he calls himself a prophet, his bald appearance would be a sign of him exposing himself to be a false prophet.
Mm.
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Whenever you see a bald prophet or a bald clergyman in the United States, especially among Judah, and that includes all of them, I don't have to call their names. They know who they are. You know who they are too, especially those who have big churches in Texas. You hardly see a neck. They're so fat. When they shave their heads bald, they are exposing themselves as being a false prophet. You have it? H 6168. And what does it take you to?
To be bare.
To be bare.
Be nude, uncovered.
Is that what it got? So they uncover themselves. Also to be exposed.
And to expose oneself.
To expose oneself. I know you should see it. Isn't that right? So how did he get it? What they used to shave their head with?
Razor.
Now go in your concordance and look up razor. Type in razor. Now you're going to type in razor, and where it was hidden is, remember Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14? Okay. Type in razor. Look for it. You're going to find Isaiah chapter 7, verse 20. And you're going to click on that. You have it?
Yeah.
Now, when you click on it, you got to go back to your concordance so you can follow it.
Mm-hmm.
Read verse 14.
Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel.
Now, from verses 14 all the way down to we're about to read, where you find razor, is what he's going to show, is the signs that he's going to show you himself. These are among the signs that he will show you when he returns himself. Look, read verse 18.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall hiss for the fly that is in the uttermost part of the rivers of Egypt, and for the bee that is in the land of Assyria.
Now that means this would be the same type of plague that were happening back in Egypt that would be happening during this time. Although this is literal flies and bees, hiss. But this fly will also be a part of the pilots that will fly. So remember, the Bible is written in at least 9 different ways. I made that clear in his book. That book that he wrote back in 1979, started and released in 80. The world's best kept secret. Well, our true history, the world's best kept secret. Well, here's one of the secrets. Some more secrets. Now read verse 20.
In the same day shall the Lord shave with a razor that is higher.
Wait, don't skip 19. Go to read 19.
And they shall come
Right.
and shall rest all of them.
How many?
All of them.
In what?
In the desolate valleys and in the holes of the rocks and upon all thorns and upon all bushes.
This is going on right now in the Middle East. During the war, what they have right now between Israel, Palestine, Palestinians, Gaza, all that going on right now. They're running to the mountains and in groves by the hundreds of thousands. Read verse 21.
And
actually, verse 20.
In the same day shall the Lord shave with a razor that is hired. Namely,
wait, how are you going to shave with a razor that's hired? Named by who?
By them beyond the river, by the king of Assyria, the head, and the hair of the feet, and it shall also consume the beard.
Now, this hire of those that Micah said he would raise in the last days, of those who tread in our palaces, in Micah chapter 5 and verse 5, that he hired 7 shepherds, 8 principal men. But you don't know that, because in that day I'll also reveal a razor. Click on razor, what you see here, because they have to expose themselves. What you have for razor? Going to take you to 85, 93.
Yeah.
Right? That's not what you want. Yeah. I told you earlier right now to go at what, 61, 68? Click on it and see that's where it comes from. And what is it? To expose oneself.
Yeah.
Make oneself naked. So it's opposite. It's false. Do not shave off your hair. It's opposite. I left this for my disciples, that when we come across this for record, that when you see this, when you see them make himself bald, he would be exposing himself to be a false prophet. Why? Because I made my disciples to grow your hair. Prove it. Go to 16 now. You see the opposite? I made you to do the opposite of what doing. Judah is shaving off their heads. I exposed themselves as being false. So in order to separate you from them, as you are to be circumcised from them, you is to grow your hair opposed to cutting your hair and shaving it off. You is to wear purple opposed to wearing white. Ma'ab performed the first circumcision. He came as Moses. So he performed the first circumcision. And back in those days in the temple, he only circumcised the men. And since it's over now, I can reveal it. It being he cannot be charged with medical malpractice. Neither can he be brought on charges of practicing and performing a doctor inside the temple, a medical doctor. But he only circumcised the men, and there are some who may be watching this right now, the recording. And they should say, if they humble themselves, he's telling the truth. I'm one of them. He's telling the truth. I'm one of them. That Yahweh, that actually it was Moses. Yahweh ben Yahweh did not circumcise any men in the temple. He did not. That's the truth. Did you read that? Read it. Start from verse 1.
Again?
You mean the very first word in Ezekiel chapter 16 is again? He said something to the Son of Man. Again, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, what?
Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations.
Who?
Jerusalem.
And I'm doing that today. Why am I doing that today? Because today, according to that calendar, again, is November the 10th, 2024. That's their calendar. On our calendar is the 29th day of the 8th month, 6027. It's also our Shabbat from sundown Saturday to sundown Sunday this year. You hear me?
Yeah.
In 1981, on their calendar, you're going to pause here for a moment. I got the calendar up there. Go to the calendar link. When I came out of the womb during this prophetical time period, back in the days, you can check my record. The woman who thought that I was hers, she did not. You could go to video. She didn't have me circumcised. They wasn't circumcised in that Negro hospital. The Negro hospital that I came out of in 1954, called Christian, they didn't circumcise Negro boys. At that time, before 1955, it was only that hospital they were allowed to go to. Negro women to give birth. Negroes, colored women, colored people. So I was not circumcised. I'm not hiding anything. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. Those adults, even the children watching, teach the children what circumcision is. If you have a son and you Hebrew, you should have him circumcised anyway. You should already know what it is. So she didn't do it. My did not allow anyone to do it. It was prophetical. It's celestial. It's a reason why it hadn't happened. But 2 years later, in 1956, she had another boy. She had that boy in a Jewish hospital. It is still here today on Miami Beach. It's called Mount Sinai Hospital, a Jewish hospital. And when he was born, she had him circumcised at his birth. But for some strange reason, like strangers from another planet, she did not have me circumcised, no matter how many years it went by. But finally, in 1979, someone came to Miami who called himself Moses Israel, his appellation. Moses Israel. He came to establish the kingdom of Shalom to Miami. And one night, Shalom came to him in a Wednesday night meeting, and he called Shalom Mika. But at birth, the law is, let's go, you're going to pause here for a moment because we've been in this all in, it's the subject. Go to Genesis chapter 17. We're coming back to Ezekiel 16. We'll go to Genesis chapter 17. Right? And read verse. You saw verse 1, so we can get an idea how old Abraham was. Actually, his name was Abram. The name became Abram until Hey was included. As Hey am, as I am. Hey. Hey. Right? A-M, H-A-M. Read verse 1.
When Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared to Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect.
They cleared something else up. They said no one was ever perfect, but they say Jesus. Not only do we have Abraham here that was deemed as being perfect, but so is Noah. Noah walked with God and was perfect. So that clears up that lie. Verse 2.
And I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly.
Mm-hmm.
And Abram fell on his face.
He knew he saw God. See, Abraham fell on his face, and my stubborn people today, they can't fall on their face with their egos. And what else?
And God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations.
So the covenant is with Abram at that time, but it was no longer Abram. Read.
Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram.
See, but what?
But thy name shall be called Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee.
And he's going to make a covenant in verse 6, right? He made a covenant already.
Yeah.
Okay, go down to verse 11. Let's see what his covenant would be.
And
actually, verse 10.
This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you and thy seed after thee. Every man child among you shall be circumcised.
Everyone. Is that right? Every man child. What happened to the women? So this circumcision or circumcised, this word circumcised with ED, it comes from Strong's H4135. Click on it. And it bears several meanings. No etymology. It bears several meanings to be circumcised. In English, don't forget this is English. Circumcised. However, Hebrew is moral, and not English. And it also means needs. If you look at the translate Strong's H4135, it means needs and cut in pieces. It also means let someone be circumcised. It also means be cut off. It also means, in a hefal meaning, it means of destruction, figuratively, and to be cut down. And the pole meaning number 5. You see it? To be cut down.
Yeah.
Also means to be destroyed. If you look down in the lexicon.
Yeah. To destroy.
To destroy. It also has, you have must needs.
Yeah.
And that's according to Genesis chapter 17, verse 11. Read verse 12. Actually, read all the 11 again, and then 12 is a sign.
And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a token of the covenant betwixt me and you.
It's a token. The foreskin, the male child. Read verse 8, verse 7, actually 12.
And he that is 8 years old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generations, he that is born in the house or brought with money of any stranger, which is not of thy seed.
Verse 13.
He that is born in thy house, and he that is bought with thy money, must needs be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant.
How long?
Everlasting.
Now don't forget, this is of your generation and your generations in plural. It didn't say when the generations end, does it? Right now we're in another generations. This is still to be carried out. I see it for everlasting. Read what happens to the uncircumcised.
And the uncircumcised man child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised,
what's going to happen?
That soul shall be cut off from his people, and he have broken my covenant.
Now you see, mothers, aims, obs, fathers, how important it is to keep this covenant from everlasting with those sons.
Yeah.
They must have their foreskin cut off. And here we go. Here we are today. We are from the other we. There's two we's. We. Right? Okay. Read the next 15, verse 15.
And God said unto Abram, As for Sarai, or Sarah thy wife, thou shalt not call her name Sarah, but Sarah shall her name be.
Okay, now that's one generation of we. Here's another generation of we. And as you're writing with your pen, you have your pen? Your pen is part of this generation. Got it? Your pen in the sheath. I went over this before. Your pen is part of the generation that we are in. We are in this generation as your pen. Your pen is. That's PENIS. That be circumcised. That means that includes the women. Why is that? Let me go back a moment and reframe it as I begin to say it. That the woman had not touched me and had no doctors to touch me. It wasn't for them to do. But at sundown, you got your calendar. Go to your calendar. And now I'm going to reveal the mystery on why my aunt told me to come on today. As she reminded me. You got your calendar? It's on 2024. Okay, 2024. This calendar for this year, the Gregorian calendar. Go down to the day's date. You should have November 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. Our Shabbat this year, 6027, is from sundown Saturday to sundown Sunday. Right? Yeah. That we're still in the Shabbat. Yeah. Okay. We just read the covenant. The law is for the child to be circumcised on the 8th day. Right? Yeah. Okay. Now, the book called Micah is number what in the Bible? 33. Okay. All right. Go to, no, stay here for a moment. You can't hear it. My aunt's speaking to me, right? You can't hear it. Go to the calendar that says 1981. Just type in 1981. Got it? Okay. In 1981, go to November. Okay, we're going to use two calendars. We're going to use two calendars. What month are we in now according to the solar calendar?
The 8th month.
The 8th month. Sundown to make the 30th day and finally of the 8th month. Yeah. November. Now, when you look at that calendar, you should see November 8th. You should see it's on Sunday.
It is.
We're in the 8th month. That means during that time, that also would have been the 29th day of the 8th month.
Wow.
Right? Okay. Now, when we go to that calendar, keep looking at that calendar, and you look at Saturday. Back in those days, Moses Israel was with us. Ma'ah was going by the appellation as Moses Israel. And Moses was circumcising all the men according to the covenant. He was saying, you got to come into the covenant, brothers. You got to come into the covenant. You got to get circumcised. Come in the covenant. So, despite what you know today, it doesn't matter by his celestial medical practice. He performed circumcisions in the temple. In our clinic room, we had a clinic room. And his midwives, we had midwives that were assisting him. And of course, I was one that was not circumcised. So he scheduled my circumcision. He scheduled it for November the 7th at sundown, which was our Shabbat. Our Shabbat went from sundown Friday to sundown Saturdays back in those days. So after Shabbat, he did a week. After Shabbat, he said, on November 7th, you'll be circumcised. I'm going to circumcise you. And that happened to have been the 8th month, November. And at sundown on November 7th happened to be the 8th day of the 8th month. At sundown, remember, we don't go midnight. But if you want to go to midnight, it was close to midnight when it happened. So Moses Israel circumcised Micah in the temple, and when he walked in, put his gloves on, there were 3 midwives inside that room, as I had a hospital gown on. He walked in and said, as he was putting on his gloves, he said, "Okay, sisters, this is a special one. And if any one of those 3 are around today and they see this video, they should also say, he's telling the truth. I remember that. He's telling the truth. Micah telling the truth. That's what he said. Yahweh ben Yahweh. Well, actually, Moses, brother Moses, Ak Moshe, when he came, he said that. This is a special one. That means he circumcised me on the 8th day of the 8th month with 2 different calendars. 1981. And when he walked in and said that, I remember him telling me, fold your hands together like when you're on guard duty, Micah, and don't look down. Just fold your hands up like when you're on guard duty in circle 10. Because I was also in the circle of 10 while he was on the podium. I was one of the 10 of security. And just to give you an idea of how I was folding my hands, go to YouTube for a moment. I still have it there. Go to YouTube. Let me show you the stand that he told me to stand. Don't look down. All right. He also told me that when you feel something, just say, praise Yahweh. And I said, praise Yahweh, and I'm still praising you today. Yeah, and don't forget, at that time, I was just coming out of law enforcement. I took a leave out of law enforcement. I resigned from it. And at that moment, I said, if I was to ever be shot, if I had ever gotten shot, well, I felt a bullet down there. I said, this is what it feels like to be shot. You see it? Go to one with the head wrap. You see one with the head wrap? Click on that for a moment. I'm going to try and move out of the way. Click on that. Let's go to the temple for a moment.
And the murders of 2 defectors from the group. Most.
Try to move out of the way so you can. Oh, there. See that? Right there. Right on top. That's how he told me to stand. That's me standing there. By the way, that particular recording was recorded on December 11th, 1981. 33 days after. Is my math right? How many days that is after? No, it's not quite 33. From November 8th, right, to December 11th, or November 7th, whichever side of 12 o'clock you want. How many? I told you my math is terrible. I will always raise my hand for help in math. If you want to help me, I'm raising my hand right now. Help with this math. That added up from November 8th to December 11th. How many days is that? You're mathematicians. Oh, you mean I said it? 33 days, right in the middle of the Bible. Micah. Right? And 10 more years of that will be 43 years, wouldn't it? Yeah. Now do your math from 1981 to this year and see what you have. I think you should have 43 years. So you have 33, 43. But that picture, that's what you see right there, when that was recorded, he called me and I was healing still after 33 days from that time. That interview, what you see there, that took place on December 11th, 1981. And that's how he told me to stand. Go back now to, but before you do, stay there for a moment. Go look for the other one. And for those who didn't hear it, play that one.
Israel denies the murders are sect related.
Go to the other one. But go back to my talking to them. He said he couldn't possibly have anything to do with it. That's how he looked.
In the murders of
Go
two
back.
defectors from the
Go
group.
back to the beginning so
Moses-
they could hear him calling
Black
Moses Israel.
Hebrew Israelites believe they are the true descendants of the original Jews, but this may be the only belief the group's various branches in the United States and Israel have in common. The leader of Miami's Yahweh Temple is Moses Israel. His followers have recently come under investigation in the murders of
Moses
two
Israel.
defectors from the group. Moses Israel denies the murders are sect-related.
I couldn't possibly have anything to do with it. I have no knowledge of it.
While Israel
Okay.
may deny it, the denials were not
That's
enough to
good.
stop.
So now I want you to hear the news commentator or reporter himself say what we were calling him. So that means Ak Moshe actually circumcised Mika that night. Moses. Just keep that in mind. Moses did it. Not go to the one where we just posted of, it's right. You have to go any place. Stay on YouTube, son, and go back to I told you to stay on YouTube and play the one that we just downloaded, the last one.
Stop a representative of the Sex 2000.
Click on it and let's play it entirely.
My secret closet to come and
Go
get
back
you.
to the beginning. Hear this.
I made up my mind on last night that I'm going into my secret closet and pick up my holy robes that I laid aside and put in my secret closet to come and get you. And I've been walking among you without my holy robes for 12 years. But I picked them up and put them on.
Now, as you heard him say, he came down to get you. He went to a secret closet, and a lot of them are stuck on that body, it's stuck on that vessel. I had to play a little of that so you can see that he used that vessel to come down to do a certain work, looking for his angels. But that vessel is no longer here. Make it plain and simple. That vessel is no longer in existence. He had it cremated. He now has another vessel. He's using a different human terrestrial vessel. In fact, he even used his own celestial vessel. He's still here, using a celestial vessel. You can listen to the rest of this on your own, but in this recording, he recorded this in January of 1992. In this recording, you hear him say, "It's over. I'm done. I'm not coming back to it on my part." That means someone else must come behind him and circumcise the rest of Israel or the rest of Judah. You hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to your Bible now for a moment. We left off at Ezekiel chapter 16, right?
Yeah.
With Baal. We left off at Baal. And we left off at circumcision. And we found out what one meaning of circumcision. That took us to Ezekiel chapter 16. Read verse 2. I mean, it caused Jerusalem to know her abominations. Read verse 2 again.
Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations.
Son of what?
Son of man.
Okay, hold it for a minute. That's son of man. Here's one of my ignorant people who was saying, I hope you guys stop with the idolaters, man worship. I wonder what in hell we think God is. Let's pause there for a moment. You just hit right here, son of man. That means son of man is also known in the Bible as a Christ. That's man. That's who the Christians are worshiping today on a Sunday. A man known as Christ. Forget the first Jesus name. That doesn't count. Now go to, for a moment, we're going to come back. Go to Genesis, the first chapter, 1, verse 23. Actually, 26. What does fool think he is? What is he? Is he greater than God, that God cannot be a man? Now, if he's focusing on me, that's because he can see this vessel. He have no idea who my soul is. He don't realize that my soul is coming in the vessel so he can relate to me. even after I remind this fool that my Ab is no longer using the vessel that they saw him using. Read verse 26 of Genesis chapter 1.
And God said, let us make man.
Let us make what?
Man in our image.
So what is that? The same fool that said this is a man in our image. And he hope we stop it. The dead nigga. I'm trying to stay cool. Go now to, you read the rest of it.
After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Okay, now, in our likeness and our image. Now go to Exodus chapter 33. See 33? And read verse what? 11? As in December 11, 33 days after November 8th. Go to 33, Exodus, and read verse 11. As in 33, Micah right in the middle of the Bible, right? 33. Read verse 11.
The Lord spake unto Moses
How?
face to face.
What?
Face to face.
As what?
A man speaketh unto his friend.
What do he mean? He hoped that we stop worshiping this man. What kind of ignorance is this dead-minded fool is performing? Moab said, keep his covenant, and he'll give you an everlasting blessings, right? So is he a liar? Go to Numbers 23, chapter 23. This fool, and then names himself Huggins. What's a Huggins? And his profile is a feathered fowl. Won't even put his profile. Facebook is designed for you to put your profile picture on it so people can see who you are, who you is. So I'm talking to not only a fool, but a foul fool. And I just have to point him out. He wanted to be heard. He wanted to be seen. Okay. Read verse 19, Numbers chapter 23.
God is not a man
that he should lie. That means God will not lie as a man. And this verse is identifying God as a man, that he don't lie. He wouldn't lie. Not a woman. I just had to address that for some reason. Something came inside me. Burn me up. Go back now to Ezekiel 16. I just had to point that out a minute. I don't usually read the comments that when I'm on live stream on Facebook. That's why I don't come on Facebook live stream. Right. But for some reason, I won't be to do this. So we're gonna download this video as we edit it and put it on YouTube. Who's gonna stop me? Go back to Exodus 16. Now read verse 2 all over again.
Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations.
Stop. Did you hear it? Did you? What you heard? What'd you hear? Cause Jerusalem to hear her abominations. Why not his abomination? Because Jerusalem is allegorically being referred to as the sister of Israel, the treacherous sister Judah. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's a her. So that means, as I mentioned a moment ago, we circumcised the man-child. What about the women? What about her? Read the next verse, 3.
And say, thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
Isn't that true?
True.
Okay, what else?
Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite.
Read on.
And as for thy nativity, in the day thou wast born, thy navel was not cut.
What? Not only was the navel not cut, the men and women were not circumcised. Read on. It's abomination. See the abominations in verse 2. Read on.
Neither wast thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou wast not salted at all, nor swaddled at all.
Wow, just plain old people, Negroes, nigger people, black colored people in the land where your fathers and mothers did not circumcise you. Read on.
None I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have
What?
compassion upon thee. But thou wast cast out in the open field,
What?
to the loathing of thy person, in the day that thou wast born.
That means you were not circumcised yet. Read verse 6.
And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live.
So you got to live. Now read verse 7.
I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments.
Ornaments. Right? And since you were born again, did you see the first word in this chapter? Again. So since you were born again, what did I make you do when you came? Read on verse 7.
Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare.
So your hair is grown, opposed to being bald. Huh? And I was naked. Now, when you clicked on naked, what you got on the 5903? It's going to take you right back. That's naked. Where did it take you to? Nakedness. Who told you that I was naked? Now we're fulfilling Genesis chapter 3. Who told you you was naked? Now you know what naked is. It does not necessarily mean the naked, the literal naked, but you were naked from the knowledge of who you were. You were not circumcised. You got it? You getting it?
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too much time on this. That means you must not lust after the flesh, because they lust on the wrong flesh. How this fool is saying, he hope you don't worship a man. Yes. You lust after the flesh. You confused. Go to Galatians chapter 5. Galatians chapter 5. And read verse 16. Actually, hold on. Don't start at 16. We're going to start someplace. The subject is circumcision.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Sure.
Okay. You should write that down. Take it down as notes. Write down circumcision in your notes. We're done with razor. Although a razor must be used to circumcise. Right? A razor. What kind of razor? A two-edged sword. Yeah, a two-edged sword. In Galatians chapter 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Going up to verse 3.
Well, I testify again.
Actually, hold it. You got to do it. Verse 2.
Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if ye be circumcised, Christ shall profit you nothing.
Oh, just the Gentiles. It's Paul that actually saw. But profit you nothing?
Nothing.
Verse 3.
For
Don't
I
forget, this is the New Testament of the King James Version. This is what the philosophers put in, the theologians put this in there. You gotta remember who they are, oppositionists as well, right? Verse 3.
For I testify again to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole law.
Read on.
Christ is become of no effect unto you. Whosoever of you are justified by the law, ye are fallen from grace.
Read on.
For we through the Spirit wait for the hope of righteousness by faith.
What do you see going on here now? The circumcision is not meant for the Gentiles or for the Europeans. The covenant is with Abraham's seed. They cannot join this. Remember, I want to join. You got to be born of Abraham's seed. That's why he told him, you circumcise yourself. Christ ain't going to profit you nothing. You can't join Christ. It shall profit you nothing. Verse 2. So you want to be circumcised and impersonate Hebrew Israelites, even the tribe of Judah. That ain't going to do you no good. He's not going to accept you. I mean, this is a special message to all the false Jews on the planet who are reading this and can see this video. It doesn't matter if you circumcise your heathen, devilish child or son. I'm not taking them. They can't come to me. That's bad news for you. Can't come to me. I only want Judah. See, Judah, you have to circumcise yourself. Read verse 6. Verse 6. Or did we?
I didn't read verse 5.
Read verse 5. Read verse 4 over again so they can see.
Christ has become of no effect unto you.
You got it? Who?
Whosoever of you are justified by the law, ye are fallen from grace.
Read on.
For we through the Spirit wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. For in Christ neither circumcision availeth anything, nor uncircumcision, but faith which worketh by love.
See, they going by faith. And their faith without works is dead. Read verse 7.
Ye did run well. Who did hinder you that ye should not obey the truth?
Read on.
This persuasion cometh not of him that calleth you. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump.
Right.
I have confidence in you through the Lord, that ye will be none otherwise minded, but he that troubleth you shall bear his judgment, whosoever he be.
That means they lust off the flesh.
Yeah.
Don't lust after the flesh. That's where they're making a mistake. Go to, hold on, we're not going to spend all that time on this like that. Go now to, keep on reading. You got to go read to verse 16.
And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision.
Okay, see, we're still here. This circumcision, as we pause for a moment, in Greek, came from the Greek word under H, actually G4061, peritomi, right? Again, make a note, G4061 in your concordance. And it means they are the circumcision. It says a term used of the Jews, of Christians gathered from among the Jews, the state of circumcision. Also the extinction of passions and the removal of spiritual impurity. But the etymology under G4059, tells you that circumcision is to cut around, to get oneself circumcised, present oneself to be circumcised and receive circumcision. That's the Gentiles and the Jews wanting to be come and bring themselves to the covenant. Since by the rite of circumcision, a man was separated from the unclean world and dedicated to God. The word is transferred to denote the extinguishing of lusts and the removal of sins. That's number 3 of that reference. Again, G4059. You can study the rest on your own. But here's the Gentiles speaking to the rest of the Gentiles. And that was continue. That was verse
Where? Verse 11.
11. Yeah.
And I, brethren, if I yet preach circumcision, why do I yet suffer persecution?
Mm-hmm.
Then is the offense of the cross ceased?
He's being persecuted because he was teaching circumcision that wasn't for them. Verse 12.
I would they were even cut off which trouble you. For, brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another.
14.
For all the law is fulfilled in
How
one
much
word.
of it? How much?
All the law.
It's fulfilling what?
One word. Even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Read on. Verse 15.
But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another.
And that's what some of our own people are biting one another. Here they are. They would choose me. I come on live stream, Facebook, as who they think is one of them, and they would belittle me instead of going to a white page and belittling the white folks. But yet, how would I expect it? They voted for Trump. What? Did I say that? They deserve what's coming. Every bit of it. Read verse 16.
This I say then, walk in the spirit.
Walk in the what?
In the spirit.
Hey, what?
And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh.
You got it? That's what they're doing. Wow, 17.
For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would.
Right. 18.
But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law.
Okay, we don't need to read the next. Now go to 1 John or I John, whichever you choose. I John chapter 2. Whichever you choose. And go to chapter 2. This is lust of the flesh. Read verse 16.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes,
What?
and the pride of life, is not of the Father.
Let's do this. Read verse 15.
Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world.
Why?
If any man love the world,
The what?
the love of the Father is not in him.
You got it? It's clear. Now read verse 16.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
They focus on the flesh of photographs of my art that he used that vessel. They also focused on me. The flesh. Okay. Go ahead and lust after the flesh. And don't listen to the soul that's in this body. Don't listen to the voice of this that's come out this vessel that you didn't vote for. You didn't even know that the word vote in the Bible means voice. Why do you think they made the old saying, let your voice be heard when you vote? Because voice means vote. Both begin with V. Study and look it up for yourself. I speak the truth. What happened? You got it? You read verse 16? Read verse 16.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father.
But what?
But is of the world.
It's of the world. Read the next verse.
And the world passeth away.
The world gonna pass away? And what happened to that?
And the lust thereof.
Wait, you mean the world and the lust is gonna pass away? That's a promise. That's prophetical. You can't stop it, neither can you change it. Read the rest of that.
But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
Is that period there?
Period.
There's a period. And I'm not coming back to do this again. Not doing this generation. Not again. Not ever again. Read the next verse and prove it. I said, little children, it is the last time. As ye have heard that the Antichrist shall come, even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. Yeah, that's it. That's all that. That's done. Go now to, that was the lust, the covenant. You must have the circumcision of the covenant. I made you grow your hair instead of balding it. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, write down on your paper circumcision or circumcised. The word circumcised in Hebrew under 5243, go to it. H 5243, no etymology. You got it? You typed it in? Circumcised. Click on it. It should take you to the first place of the covenant. Genesis chapter 17, verse 11.
Yeah.
Okay, that was for the flesh of the men child. And that's what Moses did. Moses Israel. That was the first circumcision. Now I have to perform another circumcision today. Look at the second one in Deuteronomy chapter 10. I have to circumcise the foreskin of your heart and be no more stiff-necked, Judah. Your heart, this is a totally different meaning of circumcised opposed to 5243 of the first one under Genesis chapter 17, verse 11. This one is a totally different circumcised that comes under Mem. There's a number of them. I mean, I have to, there's no etymology under this. Because the first circumcision is to literally be clipped, as we were done so back in the day. Now here we are again today. We were there then, here we are today. We. You got it? That's the first one. To be clipped. Now go to the one in Deuteronomy chapter 10 and read that.
Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart.
Of your what?
Your heart.
That's not skin. I mean, you got to cut out all that foolishness that was in your mind that you love as lust of the flesh from your heart. Stop all that lusting of your mind that's in your heart to do, that you love doing, that's unclean, full of filth, and circumcise your heart. Circumcise that, the foreskin of your heart. What foreskin? The skin you had before. The flesh that you had before you became a nigger. As a Hebrew, your foreskin. What skin? Your black skin complexion. Your foreskin. It's for your skin. If you take that off, it's for your kin. And be no more stiff-necked. It's right there. That's what you have? You said stiff-necked? Now read verse 17 of the same chapter.
For the Lord your God
is what?
Is God of gods.
Right. What else?
And Lord of lords. A God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward.
Right. And if you be obedient, now go to chapter 30 of Deuteronomy. And read verse 6. Verse 30. Chapter 30. Actually, verse 5. Start at verse 5.
And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy father.
Really? Verse 6.
And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart.
Thine heart or thy foreskin?
Thine heart.
Oh, who's going to do it?
The Lord thy God.
Oh. And what?
And the hearts of thy seed.
Even the children. To do what?
To love the Lord thy God with all thine heart.
You can't do it with all your heart unless it's circumcised. I mean, you got to cut out all that foolishness that the land of Egypt, spiritual Egypt today, that was in your mind that they taught you. I can't go back and tell you not to vote. It's too late. But that was in your mind, uncircumcised. You're voting for the taskmaster to continue to be over you. How sick is that? Well, we got to do something. I mean, maybe we get a better life. Maybe this Pharaoh will give us a better life. He cut down taxes. He said he's going to help us. He's going to help Judah. Here you have the devil. You think the devil will help your black skin. He already told you how you feel of it. Here you are. You live in a country that promotes criminals. You don't even realize it. Here you have a man that was convicted of 34 felony counts by a jury, found guilty. You allow him to come back into your life to rule it, and then you exonerate him to serve time for his convictions. And you think he's going to help make America great again. And he is, as the great dragon. That's your greatness. You have verse 6?
Yeah.
Read it again.
And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the hearts of thy seed, to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
See?
That thou mayest live.
Now, you don't want to vote for God, you voted for him, as if he can make you live. Read verse 7.
And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies.
What?
And on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
And you think that he can help you, so you voted for him. Verse 8.
And thou shalt return and obey the voice of the Lord, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day.
So this is a new circumcision. Not like the one that Moses did. Go to the next one. Go now to Joshua chapter 5. Joshua chapter 5. Read that. Actually, you could read, start from verse 3.
And Joshua made him sharp knives.
We got to go to the beginning. We got to start from 1.
And it came to pass,
what happened?
When all the kings of the Amorites, which were on the side of Jordan, westward, and all the kings of the Canaanites, which were by the sea, heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we were passed over, that their heart melted. Neither was there spirit in them any more because of the children of Israel.
Imagine that. What a mighty God we have as our Father, as our the God of the Hebrews. Read verse 2.
At that time, the Lord said unto Joshua.
What do you say to Joshua? Don't forget, Moses is gone. You can read chapter 1 of Joshua. You saw Moses is gone. Moses left. Moses left and became Yahushua our Messiah. Moses did away with Moses back in 1981, 82, and became Yahshua our Messiah. And he became Yahshua the Messiah. So he took all these appellations to fulfill prophecy. He couldn't reveal to you who Yahshua was back then. Read verse 2 and see.
At that time, the Lord said unto Joshua,
What?
Make these sharp knives and circumcise.
They're sharp razors. Sharp razors?
Sharp knives.
It's not razors? So what you taking a razor and shave up your head for? Sharp knives. And do what?
And circumcise again the children of Israel.
That's man-child. The sons, the boys. Don't you see boys in the Bible? Or the man-child? Don't you see Judah here? Just circumcise Judah. It's not there? I must have the wrong Bible. I told you, you can get many Bibles. Circumcise what? What's it?
And circumcise again
Again,
the children of Israel the second time.
after Moses. But this circumcision is going to be completely different. I have to circumcise now your heart. And that means the women are going to be involved. We. The second time. See, the first time was we. The first time was we. Now here the second time is we. Now here we again got to be circumcised. And that includes the women. Even the women is we. And do what?
And Joshua made him sharp knives.
And did what?
And circumcised the children
The
of Israel.
men of Israel.
The children of Israel.
At the what?
At the heel.
At the heel of the foreskins. That means all the children of Israel, all tribes were there with their skins at the heel, waiting to be circumcised by Joshua's word. Here we say the foreskins of the head, or the foreskins of the we. Verse 4.
And this is the cause why Joshua did circumcise.
Why?
All the people that came out.
How many of them?
All the people that came out of Egypt.
What happened to them?
That were males.
Right, yeah.
Even all the men of war.
What did they do?
Died in the wilderness by the way.
What? After what?
After they came out of Egypt.
Oh. Verse 5.
For the children of Israel walked 40 years.
No. Verse 5.
Now all the people that came out.
How many of them?
All the people that came out were circumcised.
Uh-huh.
But all the people that were born in the wilderness by the way as they came forth out of Egypt.
What happened to them?
Them they had not circumcised.
Oh, so read verse 6.
For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the people that were men of war, which came out of Egypt, were consumed.
Right.
Because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord.
They obeyed the voice of the Lord.
Because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord, unto whom
they did not obey?
They did.
Unto who?
Unto whom the Lord sware that he would not shew them the land, which the Lord sware unto their fathers that he would give us, a land that floweth with milk and honey.
Verse 7.
And their children, whom he raised up in their stead, them Joshua circumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not circumcised them by the way.
Read on.
And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people.
All of the men. Now, if you don't read this right, I'm going to find somebody else to read it. Because I'm told they're only circumcising the men. And I think people are women too. The heart. Did I say all the people? Or just some of them? Read verse 8 again.
And it came to pass, when they had done circumcising all the people, that they abode in their places in the camp till they were whole.
What? Verse 9.
And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you.
Oh, he's speaking to all the people. Is that what it's saying? He spoke to all the people.
He said unto Joshua.
He said, go ahead.
Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day.
It's called Gilgal. So what's Gilgal? Unto this day. Gilgal. Did you look it up? Some people just read, and I don't have to look that up. They say, it's just Gilgal, whatever it is, whatever that means. They don't study. They don't look up Gilgal. They don't know what it means. See? What's Gilgal? Read that part again what says Gilgal.
Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day.
Gilgal is the wheel. Wherever the wheel is, where Joshua will be at in the last days, that's where Gilgal will be today. And that wheel will probably be a circle of the special lodge. And there'll be a wheel even over the house, a wheel in the middle of a wheel. It's a wheel, Gilgal. The wheel, what? The circle of the special lodge. The special lodge is a wheel, it's a circle. You can find that on the, by the way, H1536. That's where you'll find that, the wheel. H1536. We got it?
Yeah.
And it also, that wheel will also bring up the dust. After you shake it off, if you awake from the dust of the earth. You'll find that on the H1534. It's a whirlwind, but the wheel is, I told you, it's a ship, it ships over his house. You see it every day. Even the camera, you see the results of it, the lights. When you look at H1556, you'll see the wheel also is one that is to flow down. To flow down. To roll oneself. This comes from Gilgal. It also comes out of the Pentateuch, the Torah, whatever you read of the Hebrews or the Jews, the Torah, the Septuagint. The Pentateuch is the same thing. It didn't matter. That was verse 9, right? That was verse 9. Go to Jeremiah chapter 4 and read verse 4. Actually, start verse 1. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 1.
If thou wilt return, O Israel.
Not the sons of Israel, not the men. Israel. Then what happens?
Said the Lord.
Who said it?
The Lord.
Micah. Micah said it. Charles Johnson said it. What the Lord said.
Return unto me, and if thou wilt put away thine abominations out of thy sight,
then what's going to happen?
Then shalt thou not remove.
Okay, verse 2.
And thou shalt swear, the Lord liveth in truth, in judgment, and in righteousness. The nations shall bless themselves in him, and in him shall they glory.
Verse 4.
For thus saith the Lord to the men of Judah.
The men of who?
The men of Judah.
In the United States. See, back then it was in Judah, in Jerusalem. But today it's still in the United States. Because right in the middle of Jerusalem, you have USA. But because Judah is not in Jerusalem now, they're in the USA. Other than outside in some of the Caribbean islands, even Jamaica. Break up what?
Break up your fallow ground and sow not among thorns.
Okay, you know what that means? I don't have to say what that means. You know what it means. Stop being a mingle with those dumb people. Read verse 4.
Circumcise yourselves.
No, you can't
Lord.
do that. Somebody has to circumcise you with a knife. Or with a blade or whatever they use, a scalpel in the hospital. Are you seeing? And this is also in the Torah. The Torah. This is a prophet, Yirmiyahu. You can go get it. Hebrew Bible is going to read the same. It's not in Hebrew. It'll be translated, read almost the same, even the NLT Bible. Circumcise yourselves to the Lord and take away the foreskins of your heart, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, which include the women, lest my fury come forth like fire and burn that none can quench it because of the evil of your doings. You see it?
Yeah.
Declare ye in Judah, Yehudah, and publish in Jerusalem in the United States and say, blow ye the trump, President-elect. Blow ye the trumpet in the land. Cry, gather together and say, assemble yourselves and let us go into the defense cities. and set up the standard toward Zion. Retire. Stay not, retire, stay not, for I will bring evil from the north, and a great destruction is coming. Why? The lion has come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. No, he's here. He is going forth from his place to make thy land desolate, and thy cities shall be laid waste, without inhabitant. Destroyer of the Gentiles is here. Circumcise yourselves. That what it said?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this now. Write down circumcise. Go to your, finally, go to your search box and write down circumcise from left to right. I'm not looking. You just have to tell me what you have. I'm going to trust that. Huh? What do you have? Spell it for me.
CircumCise.
Something ain't right. That's not what I told you to write. I said write down circumcise. And you're in the east. Before you do, hold it, because you're confused. I'm going to give you another shot at it. But before you do, you got to go to Revelation chapter 21. You got to read verse 1. This is not the circumcision or circumcision of Moses.
No.
This is circumcision of Joshua. Now I got to circumcise your heart and bring you back to life, because you're dying as a son. You're dead. You're dying. Did you not just read in Jeremiah chapter 4 about I'm going to destroy and kill and burn up? You want to be a part of that? Well, you better spell circumcise right. I have to help you with that. Read verse 1, Revelation chapter 21.
I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
It's all new. No more Moshe. No more Ak Moshe. Moses is gone. So it's all new. Why? Because the first heaven, the first earth will pass away. Gone. No more Moshe. Now we have Joshua. Read it. Is that what it says?
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away.
Passed away. Yeah, even Moshe passed away. We even call Yahweh ben Yahweh, passed away. Even Yahweh ben Yahweh passed away. Gone. No more. Go back to that video we left on YouTube. It says over, it's done. I'm not coming back to it ever. Now he went back and put on his holy robe. He's sitting up in heaven now, even down here on the planet as God, as who he is, incognito, who he always was. Read the rest of it.
And there was no more sea.
There's no more sea. Now go back to your search box on your internet Strongs, and what you saw, how you spelled circumcised? Spell it again.
CIR.
How you gonna spell it CIR? It has no more C. You want to die? You're supposed to be circumcised. You say circumcise yourselves. So how you gonna circumcise yourselves? Spell it circumcised with CIR. So try it again and do away with the C. Now go back and spell it again. And replace the C with S. There's no more C. And pronounce it with the homophone how it's supposed to be spelled.
Circumcised.
So how you spell? I can't see. How you spell it?
SIRKUMSISE.
Why you put you in there? You can't be in there. Why you put you in there? You have, wait, hold on. You have SIRKUM SISE. Okay. You got to do it with, you can't put a K there. You can't put a K there. Well, click on it and see what you get. I'm just going to just click on it. Go ahead and click on it and see what you get. See what Bible is in. It's not even there. Ethiopia. Okay. So you got the K-O-M. You put a U. Put the K-O-M. Come. Circum. That's circum. You put circum. Circum. And you. Cool. Now spell it. How you got it?
SIRKOMSISE.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's take out the S and the C. There's no more C. You have SIRKOM. SI what?
SE.
There's no more C. There's no more S. There's no more CSE. So spell like this: SIR. Right? Put SIR and put a space. And we got to go back because we're not going to find KOME in the Bible, but you got to put COME. And there's no more C with SE, or CE. So just put E because we're in the East. So we're going to do it over again. We're going to do it. It's going to be We're going to do it over again in the East. Put an E after the M for you're going to have SRR space COME, right? And then you're going to put, because we have to do this over again. How do we do things over again? With re? So you can put ER. I mean, you should have SRR space COME space ER. Right? Okay, click on that. And you should get something. What you got? Nothing. What you do? Tell me what you got again.
SIRCOMEER.
ER. That's not how you spell re. You have ER? Like emergency room? Okay, well, leave the ER there, but just put an E after the R. I mean, you should have ERE. Right? And you should find somewhere. I'm trying to get you to the noble man. I'm trying to make you become like a noble woman and ask me to come down and help you as a child that you don't die because you don't circumcise yourself. So what do you have now before you go? What do you have?
SIRCOMEERE.
Okay. You clicked on it?
I'm clicking it now.
I didn't tell you to, but you clicked on it. Why you clicked on it? I didn't tell you to, but you clicked on it. That's the beginning step of that's the beginning of circumcising your heart. You got to learn to follow instructions and be obedient. And that's what happened to your circumcision. You circumcised yourself. And you didn't do a good job. So don't tell me you found something. You find anything? Go to your search box and type in SIR space COME space ERE. Right? Calling me sir. You're going to come down. You're going to come down, sir. I was circumcised by John. You have it?
Yeah.
Search box. What happened? I can't see. I'm not looking.
So the John 4.
It did. You mean it's in the Bible? That's circumcised. Sir. Read that from verse 46. You might as well click on the meaning too. This is circumcised.
So Christ came again into Cana.
Here you go. Here you go it again, and said what?
Where he made the water wine, and there was a certain nobleman whose son was sick at Capernaum. When he heard that Christ was come out of Judea into Galilee, he went unto him and besought him that he would come down and heal his son.
I came down. Remember how I said come down? To get you? Well, I come down to heal you. And what?
For he was at the point of death.
He was, and all of you at the point of death. Verse 48.
Then said Christ unto him.
See, except you see signs, remember the signs? Except you see signs that he himself shall give you and wonders, you will not believe. Read verse 49.
The nobleman said unto him, Sir, come thou Erie, my child die.
Now, you have Erie. You didn't put that. The first thing you put down was ER, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that would be from right to left. From right to left, ER would be re. Yeah. And then you put down the other E. That means from left to right now. So from left to right or right to left. From left to right or right to left. You still have re. Don't you? Yeah. And what does re mean? To do again, or as it was before, doesn't it? Well, I had them to translate that so it means exactly that. But I click on it, G4250. So you can see it's been done before, formally, the same thing.
Before, formally.
Before. Look at that etymology. That etymology is 4253G on the pro. What does it mean? The etymology.
Before.
So I did this before. I do it again today. What? Circumcise your heart. Sir, come. Size. E-R-E. Before. So verse 50. Read verse 50.
Christ said unto him,
Go thy way. Thy son liveth. And the man believeth the word that the Christ had spoken unto him. And he went his way. Now you all go your way today. It's a Shabbat. Go your way, since I have now recircumcised you, your heart. Circumcise your heart, not your flesh. Go your way.
Yeah.
And as he was now going down, his servants met him and told him, saying, Thy son liveth. Then acquired he of them the hour when he began to amend. And they said unto him, Yesterday, at the 7th hour, the fever left him. So the father knew that it was at the same hour in the which that the Christ said to him, Thy son liveth, in the 7th hour, and himself believeth, and his whole house believed. This is again the second miracle that Christ did when he was come out of Judea into Galilee, which is not a physical place. It's a galaxy. When he came out the galaxy, he came down and performed. Came down. See, come down. Came down at the galaxy and healed all those that need to be circumcised. They were recircumcised today, as he was himself was circumcised by John, John's son. That's the true circumcision. With that said, I pray you circumcise your heart. Come out of that. With that said, you've been circumcised. Now you must circumcise your own self. Come out of that. Come out of her, my people. Praise your Lord.
Praise your.
Well, with that said, I want to say told out to my for allowing you to be here this long. I had to attend to that. I'm not in control. All that believe were together in one place, breaking bread from house to house. Did eat that meat with gladness, singleness of heart, under one God, one mind, one heart, and one action. And with that said, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Until the next time we meet, we say Shabbat Shalom to all those who joined us.
Shabbat Shalom.
And we'll do the same thing on our conference line. We say Shabbat Shalom.